Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be another episode of Road to 1000 DuelingBook rating. We're going to be once again on Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc, and our opponent this time is going to be Hcabe the Pleb on Dinosaurs, which is a deck that we really haven't seen in a hot minute, pretty much ever since Miscellaneousaurus got hit to 1. But yeah, this build is hard binding second with all the board breakers of the format, as well as playing stuff like Shaddoll Fusion and the Fusion Destiny package to help further break boards. So kind of a terrifying list, honestly. Because in the down package is sort of a way to bait all the interruptions, and then you just go ahead and simplify the game state with Shaddoll Fusion or Fusion Destiny, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this matchup here without any further ado. So we do lose the RPS, but our opponent is biting second anyway, so the outcome of that didn't ultimately matter except for giving me more info, which is nice. So our opening hand going first is going to be Cobalt Sparrow, Wagtail, Imperm Bird Call, and Warbler. So good hand, definitely a very good hand. Not too much to comment about this one. And then their hand going second is going to be Double Fossil Dig, Baby Ceratosaurus, Forbidden Droplet, and Misk. So, just hard draw the Misk in 44. Easy. All the good Dino players are going to open it. Also, yeah, my opponent actually recognized me, so shouts to you if you're watching this. I run into quite a few of you guys on Rated, which is awesome. It really makes the experience a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, we're going to go ahead. Yeah, they're talking about penguins here just a little bit in chat. Speaking of which, I will definitely be, profiling penguins. I'll upload some penguin content in the not too distant future. Just waiting on like Brothers of Legend for like the new Ice Barrier trap to kind of play around with that. And also waiting for my rarity upgrades to come in because I need to pick up the OTS Super Penguins. But anyways, getting a bit off track here. So we gotta begin with Warbler. And then we get summon out Wagtail from hand off the effect. I do this because I just want to see if like this will force an Ash. Just even though I already have a Bird Call, because like this play resolving already gets me further ahead into my play. Because if my opponent is binding second, I feel like they just have a lot of board breakers. They also told me no hand traps, so I'm just assuming stuff like Drop It and Dark Ruler. So this play sets up Oath a bit more efficiently than if you open Warbler plus Sparrow. So I go for this play instead. We're going to go for a Recital here, and we are ahead by 1 search, so definitely pretty good. We can go ahead and grab Nerval here, and then we can Bird Call into the Sapphire Swallow, and then summon out Sparrow off the Bird Call, which triggers for Barrow Canary. And we can go ahead and activate Sapphire to summon itself and the Nerval. And then here, like, I have this habit of overlaying for Cobalt Sparrow, just to keep giving my Recitals targeting protection. In effect, what this does is that it leaves the Sapphire Swallow on the field, so that's what I eventually link away for the Simorg alongside Farid. So it puts it in grave to bring back off Barrow Canary, which is not as ideal as keeping like Cobalt Sparrow in grave for follow-up, so you can kind of choose to prioritize if you want to do it that way, just sort of small nuances. But yeah, we're going to go for Recital number 2 here, searching another Nerval. I do this because if this gets ashed, I still at least have a Tri-Brigade play, whereas like if I search for like DD Crow, sure, I'll have another interruption that way. It may happen to be a good one against this deck, but some people do in fact like ash this, even though I think ashing Bird Call is generally better. But it is something that is worth noting that that is a choke point that some people are choosing to utilize there. But we're gonna go and grab Kit. I know our opponent told us no hand traps, so it's kind of a moot point, but these are definitely good things to keep in mind. We're going to go for Draco Future here, then normal summon out the Kit, and then we're going to go and banish 4. I do want to set up Oath, absolutely for sure. We're going to go for Omen into Farid, so we're going to trigger both the Omen and the Kit when we link it off. And then we're going to go and search for our Karas here. And then the Baron Blossom, because we have the Winged Beast on field already, we can just use it to special out the Karas from hand. And that keeps an extra follow-up in my hand, which is pretty good here. We can link away for Simorg, and then Farid to draw. We draw the 3rd Bird Call, which is not really super needed, so we put it back. And then we're going to banish 2 for DDL, and then Barrow Canary into the 2-map Robin, set Imperm, and then go to end phase and then activate, summon out the Apex Avian. So it's like the full board. We could have had more bird names if we play this out a little bit differently, but I think this was fine. Like searching the extra Nerval maybe was not needed. Like the way you would get an extra material here is like if you search the bird and then you pitch it for Chaos instead of summoning it off the Farid, and that way like the Sapphire can just attach it. So that's like one way you can get an extra bounce if you wanted to, but having the follow-up is also pretty good. So we passed on this. They draw a Shaddoll Dragon, which I actually didn't see any Shaddolls, I don't think, in my time playing. I did watch this match before recording this because there was a lot that happened here, and it also happened a couple days ago, so about maybe like a week or so actually at this point. But yeah, this hand is pretty solid. So he's going to begin things off with a copy of Misk, and that is very, very unfortunate because this card is probably going to deal with 2 interruptions kind of by itself, especially because they already had baby in hand. So pretty much I feel forced to Draco Future negate the hand effect, because if I don't, then I just can't interact with him. And that is obviously not what I want to be doing. So yeah, gonna go ahead and negate that, and then they're going to Misk effect for 1 here. I choose not to Apex this. So I reason that there's probably not Dark Ruler in their hand right now. So I want to like save this for something more impactful, because I have Imperm set too, right? So I feel like, okay, I can just Imperm the Archosaur, and that should like cut off a lot of resources if they do have baby in hand, which obviously they do. So yeah, gonna go for the Archosaur here. I'm gonna Chainlink 2 Imperm, and then they're gonna Chainlink 3 a Forbidden Droplet. And then now it's kind of like forcing my hand here. I feel okay with negating Oath or negating with Oath here, just because again I don't think that they have like Dark Ruler or any other like big board breaker card. If they have like Lightning Storm, I could always just negate it with Apex. So I feel decent about this, although this Archosaur will resolve, which is unfortunate. So my opponent's doing a very good job at trading the interruptions right here, because they're gonna have a whole lot of cards, and I already burned through 3 of my interruptions. So they're gonna baby effect, and I also choose not to Apex this because I have Ensemble Robin. So I think my reasoning is that they haven't normal summoned yet, and so like I want to also potentially hold this for a evolution pill just in case. Yeah, so I decide to hold off on it. Kind of thinking in hindsight, maybe it was worth negating this, because if they Fossil Dig for Overraptor here and they normal it, I suppose that also, I suppose it's actually worse for me if they do it that way, because I can't really interact with Robin there, because then I'd have to like DDL bounce the normal summon if I go potentially into like a battle phase, and then like I have nothing to answer a pill. So yeah, I actually think this was still fine. Yeah, so they're gonna OV Chainlink 1, we're gonna Robin Chainlink 2, and then they're going to search UC2 directly, and they have 2 dinos in grave already for it. So they're gonna Fossil Dig just to get another baby in hand. That way they have more value to destroy off of this conductor. So now I know their hand is Pill, Baby, UCT, and Overraptor. So they still have 6 cards, and they burned through 3 of my interruptions plus 1 of the Robin material. So they're doing a great job breaking the board so far. I'm gonna go ahead and banish 2 for the UCT. I like to not to Robin bounce this one, just because I want to see if they like activate the effects in main phase or just try and go to battle phase. Like if they go to battle phase, I just bounce it with DDL, and if they don't, then I can just negate the activation of this with Apex Avian. That does leave me, if they like go into the battle phase, for like not really great answer to the normal summon, but normal summoning Overraptor doesn't do a whole lot because they already use the on summon effect, and then it's like I reason that it's probably hard for them to get another body on board, given that they went through Misk already. So it'd be hard for them to special another body unless they commit Pill, but even them committing Pill isn't that great like for OV to destroy. So I think that this is fine overall. They're going to go ahead and activate the Conductor effect, and then we're going to chain Apex because I know they have baby in hand, so really just can't let that resolve. And then from here, they are going to be thinking, they're thinking quite a lot here. They're going to normal summon and try to use the effect again, but they already used it, which is, like, thank goodness that it's a hard one to return. Otherwise, that would have just been the worst play ever on my part. So they're going to go to battle phase, and then they're going to attack into my DDL. I actually elect to let this go, because I still think that maybe there's like a 2% chance that there's a main deck evenly in this hand, and I just do not want to deal with that. So I'm like, okay, if somehow there's another way for them to get a body on board that they can destroy and also still get value, like that's fair enough, I suppose. But even if they bring back UCT, which was summoned properly, it's not a big deal because I can always like Draco Future to negate it. So I'm feeling okay about this because they don't really have a great way to clear this. Like even if they somehow brought this back in their turn and then like booked on my entire board, like I could just flip it up immediately, like as first action in my next main phase, and then this just answers the UCT right there. So yeah, they're gonna Fossil Dig here, and then they grab Giant Rex, and then they actually choose. Oh, not to mention I also have Ensemble Robin. That's like totally kind of flew over my head. But yeah, they choose not to pill here, probably because I have Ensemble Robin. They could have done it though. Like they could have banished Rex and Shadal Dragon, and then summon out another UCT. That would have forced me to bounce with Robin, but they would have gotten Rex to overlay for something. Not that that would have been great because I could just attack over whatever they make if it's Stalker or Lagio or whatever. But I mean, it puts them in like a decent enough position to where they don't like lose instantly. Plus, they would have like a follow up UCT. But still, maybe they just don't want to reveal the information about the Shadals in their hand, which is fair enough because again, I had no idea that there were even Shadals in this deck. Oh yeah, so they're gonna go ahead and pass YGO and Simorg in the end phase for Apex Avian, and then we draw for turn. It's a copy for Warbler, which is pretty good with Bird Call. But yeah, I don't want to like commit too much, and this is already game on board. So yeah, we're gonna go to battle phase and just attack. So this is 27 minus 18 is 9 plus 7 plus 12, and then 54 is game because they have 52. So that was a pretty scary game one. They actually almost broke our entire board. But yeah, it kind of just goes to show the power of Misk and why that card is at 1 right now. So yeah, they're going to let us go first again in game number 2 here. And then our open hand is going to be Bird Call, Apex Avian, Tanky 1-for-1 Fractal. So again, really, really solid hand. We drew the Apex Avian, but again, Farid—it's like a great card to put this back. And then their hand is going to be a Lost World, Dark Ruler, Dasher, Giant Rex, and with Ossagem. So they're also playing a small diagram package here. So yeah, this hand is interesting. It's not the strongest, but they do have Dark Ruler to just kind of break whatever board I make if I, provided I don't have Oath. So we're going to go for Bird Call, and then we're going to grab Warbler. Yeah, I'll just give a spoiler alert right now. This game is fraught with misplays on my end. So we're going to go through those for sure, like as we go through the game. Yeah, we're going to Warbler Sparrow here. I think this part's pretty straightforward, grabbing Nerval. I don't like to use 1-for-1 anytime during this turn, just because it's not really super needed. There's a point where I could maybe use it at the end, which we'll talk about later, but I choose not to. Here's where I do the Nerval on field, banish 2 from Grave, because I started with Fractal to get the Farragut online, because this is the point where we're still playing the Link 3 spot, the Doom Eagle. Since I cut it, I would just, if I do this combo again without the Link 3 in my extra deck, I would just not use Nerval here and then do the normal play that I did in game 1, basically, where just kit banish 4, and that would be fine. So we grab Barrier Canary and we grab the Kip. And then here we're going to make Draco Future. We're going to special out Kit off of the Farragut, and we're going to banish 3 for the Rugal. And then we're going to go, not Rugal, sorry, Doom Eagle. And then we're going to go for the Shurag. And then we're going to Kit to send Oath, and then because this is a Winged Beast, we can use it to make Simorg here. So we're going to deck then to get Fractal before we draw and put back with Farragut. So we can grab both these effects now, so we can go ahead and search for Karas, and then we can draw. We draw Nibiru, which is decent, and then we put back the Apex Avian. And then from here, we're going to normal out Karas because we haven't normal summoned yet. And then we can banish 2, go for the DDL. So here's where I could have used this 1-for-1 if I wanted to. Like I could have used 1-for-1 to pitch Fractal before linking off into Simorg. Like I could have gotten extra bird into rotation and then just hard linked all 3. Like all 3 being the Shurag plus Farragut plus whatever my 1-for-1 target was. Which probably would have been Wagtail. Yeah, it would have been Wagtail, so I could grab another search. And then that would have let me end on the Ensemble Robin as well. So I think the reason I don't do that is just because I want more follow-up in my hand. Granted, the Ensemble Robin was pretty solid last game, so I should have probably gone out of my way to make it live. So yeah, definitely a bit of a mismanagement of my resources here. I could have done this a bit more optimally. So we have Oath Engrave still, and we have a couple of interruptions, so definitely not bad. Here's where I make the big misplay, and this one's like really stupid. So yeah, they're gonna go and begin with a Lightning Storm, and I Oath negate this instead of Apex Avian negate this. I think in my mind I was trying to play around like double Lightning Storm for some reason instead of the more mathematically like probabilistic option of 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Forbidden Droplet. Because what ends up happening here is I just droplets and then, Dark Rulers, and I just can't do anything. So I don't know why I use Oath. I should just Apex Avian negated it. Maybe I was also waiting for like an impactful card, like maybe I don't know. Like it's hard to say what I would have waited for besides like, just another big blowout card that wasn't Dark Ruler or Droplet. So this isn't really super defensible. Yeah, so I just play that out completely wrong. So they're gonna Lost World here. And actually, another funny thing with this hand specifically is that if I had the Ensemble Robin here, this actually wouldn't have mattered because my board would have been clogged to where they couldn't Lost World give me a token. So that actually would have come up. But instead, not only did I, not end the Robin like I should have, but I also just played out my interruptions wrong. So yeah, this game was just really, really badly played at my end. So yeah, they're gonna go ahead and destroy the baby after attacking over it. And then they're going to Overraptor and then grab another baby. And then here they're going to attack into my Karis. And then they're going to activate Lithosogym and then destroy both of their Earths, which is pretty terrifying because they only have 6 cards in my extra deck. So they're going to banish all 3 of my Xyz, which includes the Zeus package. And then they're going to trigger the baby here as well. So my extra deck at this point is Almirage, the second Farid, and the Appaloosa because I'm not playing the second Shuraig. Again, I cut the Link 3 to make room for the second Shuraig in my most recent deck profile. But yeah, I definitely played this completely wrong here. So this was definitely a winnable game. I just played it out poorly, so not really too much to say about that. They're going to Archosaur to pop Overraptor to grab Pill. And then they're going to make Link Freebo, and then they're going to go for Anaconda. And at least I get more info about their deck. So they're going to go for a double evolution pill, and that's going to go into some Conductor Tyranno. And then Giant Rex hits the board too, and then they also get the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer on top of all this. So here I contemplate using Nibiru, but if I do that, this token is going to be extremely massive, and given my extra deck contents, again, it's Almirage, Farid, and Appaloosa, I just have no way to out this token. So I have to hope that somehow I can clear the board with these monsters on board, and then just outgrind that way. It's gonna be extremely difficult to, but that's the only realistic choice that I have. So out comes Enforcer, and then we're gonna go and have our, I think, Draco Future get popped by this. Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's after this match where we put the second Shuraig here, because I'm like, wow, if I had that and I just did a different combo turn 1, managing this UCT would have been about 10 times easier. Yeah, so we are going to think here, because I'm just trying to take stock of the game state. Then we draw, I believe that was a Foolish Burial for turn. So yeah, here I'm thinking in draw phase, and I forgot that I have this token on board, so I can't use DDO preemptively to bounce any other things. And then I realized that, and I'm like, okay, I can't do any of that. So we move to main phase, and I can't send this for cost either, because that's a send to Grave specifically as a cost, so that doesn't work. So we're going to go to main phase, and then we're going to be thinking here. So after a long deliberation, I tribute summon for Nibiru. Now this looks really weird, but I want a way to force, or basically force Enforcer or Conductor Tyranno in the main phase, because this is the only monster I have access to right now that actually contests this Enforcer. Because they're both losing 5 from the Lost World, and my monsters are losing 400 from the Enforcer. So this is on 21, this is on 2000. So this is the only thing that can actually threaten the Enforcer right now. And I also need the token off the board so I can actually DDL to target one of these monsters to actually just bounce it. Ideally the Enforcer. So what I could have done maybe instead was 1-for-1 first. And then I could have potentially, I could have 1-for-1 pitched even the Barrow Canary, because I don't have any Xyz monsters anymore. So me being Xyz locked does not help me at all, because I just have none left. So I could have maybe 1-for-1 pitch Barrow Canary to summon out either Cobalt Sparrow or Nerval, and then I could have attributed that plus the token, and then kept the Simorg live, which would have been decent for just having a continuous or another way to get more resources essentially. That wouldn't have been too bad either. But I'll kind of run through the line that I also could have done given my choice to tribute away the Simorg. So we go ahead and I believe try to end the main phase right here. And then in main phase, we're going to activate Conductor, and then we're going to chain Apex Avian to try and negate it. They're going to chain link 3 Enforcer, and then we're going to chain link 4 double Dragon Lord to send away Tenki to target it. So that gets bounced. They have to resolve Enforcers. They're going to pop Lost World, as well as my Apex, which they forget to resolve in the chain, but they fix it afterward. And then they use UT to book my board, and I'm like, well, it kind of matters if they choose to bounce Apex or not, because if they don't, if they don't pop Apex with the Enforcer, then this would get negated. But because they did pop it, it's kind of like what I mentioned in my tips video that I uploaded a few days ago. Basically, it has to return itself to the hand to negate, so this isn't getting negated right now, which is unfortunate because that was kind of my only real option. So yeah, we outed the Enforcer, but we haven't outed this yet, and that's like the big problem right now. So yeah, this gets booked because of the Conductor, and then we're going to be thinking of main phase 2 here. Yeah, so we Foolish Burial just so I can get another monster, because I believe I sent Nerval here. And I want to just be able to freely pitch one of these Fractals. Because for some reason I'm not thinking about how Barrel Canary pretty much doesn't do anything in this situation. Yeah, so we grab Cobalt Sparrow. And I do this because I want to grab a copy of DD Crow so that I can actually hit the Celestial. I should hit Dasher, but I didn't think about it, and I hit Celestial instead. Just kind of a spoiler, but yeah, I should hit Dasher here. And then from here, I tried Normal Summon Fractal, and I realized I can't do that because I already Normal Summoned the Nibiru. So yeah, I just have to pass. Like, again, I outed a lot of the board, but not enough to actually clear this Conductor. And DDL doesn't really answer it because there's so many dinos in grave. And one of them being a Giant Rex, that would just be extremely minus for me to bounce this. But there's not really any other way I can actually deal with this card right now. So I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I'm just trying to stabilize a little bit until I think of a way to actually beat this, because right now it's not looking like there is a way. They draw a Dark Ruler, so even if I wanted to bounce this, now I can't because it's going to negate my board. We're going to DD Crow, hit Celestial. Again, it should be Dasher that I'm hitting here. And then go ahead and just clear my entire field. Thankfully, I'm still in the game technically. We draw a Chalice for turn, which is really unhelpful here. So we know what a Fractal. I'm just hoping that they'll bite for some reason and just pop itself to book this. But yeah, they saw my extra deck, which is the thing, right? Because of the Gem. So it's not like I can bluff second Shrike and be like, hey, maybe this can banish your UCT. You should book this, because they know what's in my extra deck. So there's nothing that they have to fear. They're probably thinking, what is he trying to dig for, right? What's he trying to do here? So I just want to see what I draw off this Farigate before I scoop, just to see if there's any way I could have drawn my way out of this eventually. We would have drawn Wagtail, so yeah, that game definitely was a bit of a punt on my part, but these kinds of things definitely do happen just if you're a bit lackadaisical and you don't actually actively pay attention to what you're doing. So definitely just be careful, and I think through your plays a little bit, because I don't think I really thought that through in terms of using Oath versus Apex Avian. I'm just oh, Spell Trap, just negate that with Oath. But really, if I thought about that for just 10 seconds, it would have been definitely a different outcome. But yeah, we're going to choose to go first in game number 3 here, because despite the fact that they're on a go second build, I don't anticipate that they don't have anything for going first. And we got rewarded here because they set a barrier, probably think that we're going first here. Or that we're going to make them go first, that is. But yeah, our opening hand is going to be Imperm, Oath, Cobalt Sparrow, Apex Avian, and Bird Call. Again, pretty good hand, but we drew both the bricks, which is unfortunate. You really don't want to see these cards, but we do a full combo, so I can't really complain too much. And then their hand is Diagram, Archosaur, Forbidden Chalice, Baby Ceratosaurus, and Dimensional Barrier. So again, they're probably thinking that we're making them go first. So yeah, we're going to Bird Call here. This is actually weaker because now we can't really profitably use a Bird Call later with Wagtail that we normally would get in a lot of the combos. So we have to reroute slightly here. So yeah, we're going to go for Warbler into Sparrow into Nerval, of course. And then we're going to go and search for our Sapphire Swell off the Recital. And then here we just go and make a second Recital. And then we grab Barrel Canary as well as the kit here. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can use, a way that I could use both Kit and Farigate in the same chain link. So I can go Kit chain link 1, Farigate chain link 2 to draw, put back Oath, and then send Oath off Kit. But then I'm well, if I do that, there's not really a good way for me to also make Shurag so I can get access to Chaos to actually make this live in the first place. So what I basically do is just forsake this Oath, and then I go for just a more normal combo. So I banish 3 for Simorg, that way I just have this as follow-up. And then I Barrel Canary to bring back the Cobalt Sparrow and then Robin here. So it's not really a flashy board with Oath, but I feel a little bit safer about this if my opponent decided more heavily to go first, because then maybe they decided out Droplet and Dark Ruler. Because if that's the case, then we might be in there. So yeah, they draw Fusion Destiny for turn. So yeah, they have no board breakers in this hand, which is very, very good news for us. So they're gonna be thinking here. They do have a lot of engine cards, however. So they're gonna activate Diagram, and then they're going to Diagram. I'm not like super surprised by this because I saw it with Orzech last game. So we don't negate this just because I want to see what resources they're working with. Because like a 1-for-1 trade is fine, but that also plays a lot harder into like tactics. Like take this, for example, like take Draker Future. So I don't want to like use Apex Avian if I really don't have to. They're gonna grab with Orzech and they pop the baby. So like that's not the greatest, but we do have to negate this, I'm pretty sure. And then they reveal that they have Chalice. So my thought process is now, okay, they really want this to resolve. So I do choose to Apex this because now that these are already expended, I don't care as much about tactics. Like they can't take the Ensemble Robin because the Barrack Canary is underneath it. So like they can take and go into battle phase, but like, that's not the end of the world because like we have Ensemble Robin adding back if they choose to do it, and then we have Kit as well for try follow up. So I feel like if I can weather this storm, we should be in a pretty good position. And like them activating Chalicer kind of telegraphs to me that they really, really want this baby to resolve. So by not letting them have it, like they have to play a bit more awkwardly with the rest of their resources. And you can see like they only really have Fusion Destiny left as a push. So speaking of which, they are going to Fusion Destiny. And I'm not feeling too badly about this because we can just go on summon, Robin Chainlink 1, they're going to chain the Enforcer, and then we have Impermanence Chainlink 3. So that gets bounced. They destroy Diagram, but it's negated. And then they set Barrier, and then we go to end phase, and then we just go ahead and summon out the Apex Avian because this is game right here. So yeah, we just go battle phase, and then they flip a Barrier, which is fine, and then we just attack for games. So that was a pretty interesting series for sure. Like definitely crazy set. Didn't need to go to game 3 if I had played properly. It's not a guarantee that it would have won, but it's a guarantee that the outcome would have been a lot more favorable for me if I gone for like Robin, if I had just like committed 1-for-1, or if I just played out my hand a little bit differently. So that way they couldn't like just give me a token off Lost World because my entire board would have been full. Or B, if I had just used Apex Avian and then Oath in the right order. But yeah, this was fine, I think, still. Like obviously this is not a super common matchup, but I think it like displays a lot of like ways that you can deal with Go Second cards, because like that's pretty much what this deck is. It's a lot of Go Second cards and then relatively compact engine. So there's a fair amount of those running around. Like there's like the Go Second Sword Soul deck, and then there's like Striker in the format right now. So I think this is still pretty valuable just as like a mechanism to, or rather a way to figure out certain, what am I saying? As an example of like how you can actually prepare for those Go Second cards, basically. So yeah, that is going to be it. And that'll do it for the video. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe if you did. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.